Looks like our first game is starting, so let's jump right into it. And we are in the upper semis, and so I believe this matchup is going to be Bestmarmotte versus Unner. So we're already a little bit familiar with Bestmarmotte, but I think Unner is a slightly new name. I'm not too familiar with it, but there we have the decks listed on screen for you guys. And let's talk a little bit about the meta, guys, to kick us off. Exodium, how do you think Starforged Legends has been playing out, and what are we going to see in this particular matchup here?
Sure. So, I mean, we're still early in development, so a lot of aggro decks as normal at the beginning of the season. I know we've talked a lot about that. But aggro Sword, as you can see, and I'll actually let Aya talk a little bit more about this because he's been playing Sword more than me. But Aya, talk to everybody about Sword and why it's so good right now.
Alright, well, one of the reasons that Sword is so good is that it has so much storm. Okay? As we see, there's the first turn Perseus in the hand of Bestmarmotte. He has the Centaur Vanguard that gives it Storm. So starting from turn 2 and going up the curve, he has Storm cards in his hand ready to unload on his opponent. So that's
Centaur
one of the
Vanguards, Novice Trooper, Julia, Albert, like every single card, even his opponent's hand right now, Unner over there with his Council of Card Knights. There's just so many Storm cards. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, man. But I wanted to say that since Bestmarmotte is on the on the draw, he's going to want to play more of a controlling game. He's going to want to try to keep Unner's board low. He's going to want to try to fit in the damage that he can while, you know, trying to control the board. But as we see, Unner is just, you know what, man? Your face, bro.
That's right. And he's also got the Council of Card Knights to back up the early aggro. So even if Bestmarmotte wants to try to control the board, Council of Card Knights kind of does it better than any of the cards that Marmot has access to at the moment. So he's going to have to fight through quite a lot here. But even saying that, Marmot does have a ton of high-value cards in hand, so he could eke out a lot of damage from what he's got.
Oh, he's got 2 Juliets, he's got a Centaur Vanguard, and an Albert. So he has all the storm he could need, you know. And Unner playing an Ephemera here, of course this sets up for later turns. Him playing an Ephemera here is not going to stop Bestmarmotte from going, hey man, I'm hitting you in the face.
And that freshly minted Vanguard for the double Vanguard turn here.
Yeah.
From no damage to a ton of damage in like no seconds flat. Let's go.
Yeah, he materialized a boat out of nowhere and is hitting Unner in the face. Okay.
That's right. You took a turn off to play Ephemera? Here we go, boys.
Right.
By the way, Aya, what is a marmot? Okay, do you know what a marmot is? Can you tell me what this is? No idea what a marmot is. I know it's like a rodent or like a prairie dog type of thing, right? It's gotta be. That's what it sounds like.
Well, you know what, man? I don't have a clue. But I mean, honestly, I kind of want to know what an Unner is too. But
right. Right. Perfect.
Okay.
So one quick note I want to make about Sword as well. Princess Julia, while also just being a really great 3-play point 2/2 with Storm, 2 factors about that card that make it even better. One, it's got Commander keyword on it, meaning it also triggers your Centaur Vanguards and other things like that. And 2, if you play something that a lot of the Sword decks are playing right now, called Round Table Assembly, you can actually play that for 5. It's a spell, and it puts 2 commanders into play that costs 3. And if you just play Juliets, or you run some combination of Juliets plus the new commander that came out, Mars, then you just get a ton of free damage, where otherwise you couldn't do that much on turn 5. It can deal with Ephemera in play up to 8 damage with an Evo point. So these Sword decks can spike really hard.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's really scary about Sword. It doesn't really matter what deck you're playing. They get just the right order of cards and this, that, and other. You're in a lot of trouble.
Right.
A lot of trouble.
Absolutely. But it looks like Marmot and Unner chose to go with the Council of Card Knights instead of Round Table Assembly for more board positive plays, which makes sense to me. Council of Card Knights is not going anywhere. It's a great card.
Well, I'm currently in my list, I'm running 1 round table and 2 council, so kind of mixed it up a little bit.
Nice little mix. Yeah, keep your opponent guessing, especially in formats like this. I mean, them not knowing what you have to play on turn 5 when you have a bevy of options. between Albert and those two cards. It just makes playing around things very hard. And as we can see, Marmot, while being on the draw and being to a slower start, has this game right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, he's been controlling the game since the beginning. He's been trading when he needs to, taking damage when he can. He's, as we can see, he actually went second, but is ahead on life, and he was ahead on board.
And now we get to see basically double Juliets from Unner, followed by double Juliets from Marmot. This is the crazy amount of things that you can do with this deck. It's insane. And Unner going for the trades here. He knows he's at low life.
Should have been quicker.
So
Yeah, that's a scary number.
Yes, it is. 10 against Sword. We all know what Albert can do, folks. We all know.
Albert is still a card.
Yes, it is. Oh, but the fact that we didn't even talk about, Juliet's cost gets reduced when you play another commander. So, yeah, he could actually, Marmot can play every single card in his hand this turn.
Yeah, and he can do up to 4 damage if he wants, or he could even do more than that. He can do 6 if he wants to Evo, but I don't think so. Again, I think he should stick to the game plan, which he is, of just trading, getting value. Like, currently, Unner has very little options to deal with this right now. He has none. Like, really.
He's gonna need to draw a council or something.
No, that's
definitely not it. Perseus, great turn 1 drop. Not so great draw on turn 8.
It does give the Centaur Vanguard Storm, but again, he's just going to be using it to trade, and it doesn't matter because we can see Bestmarmotte just he has this game pretty well locked up right here with the board that he has.
I mean, even if Unner takes over the board back right now, we're still looking at Marmot here with 17 health. He's got plenty of draw phases to get that last 4 points of damage in.
Yeah, he does.
That being said, with the Juliet probably remaining in play.
Well, he could also draw Ephemera as well. That would end the game too. So if he draws his own, okay, maybe not. Nah, he traded his own.
Okay, so he did the better trade there. So left 1 damage in play. 5 damage left. Ooh, baby. The battle of the 1-drops off the top.
Well, unfortunately, Unner is stuck in the position where he's forced to trade, like, for the remainder of the game.
He basically just has to outvalue with the cards off the top. Basically every single turn. If he falls behind 1 turn, he's just gonna fall over.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a spicy one.
That's not what, you hate to see that type of thing happen, man. You never want to see your opponent top deck or draw a Council of Card Knights. You never want to see that.
Especially in this situation, yeah. Off the top, like board to board, yeah.
Now, sitting here with your 1/1s, you got your Perseus, that's 3/1, with a board of 1/3s, it just feels really bad.
Feels really bad. That's going to have to run into the ward. The 1/1 can pick off the 1/1. There's still 2 damage left in play. Ooh. More 1-drops for Unner.
Yeah, he's going to have to trade into the ward and then trade into the 1/1 to stay alive, man.
Yep, he's going to need to draw an Albert or something of the sort off the top even to... Oh, nope.
Never mind.
No more time.
Nope. Hey, we saw
Fairy Dog takes the first game.
We saw a aggro sword game go to turn 10.
That's right.
we
mostly because they have to like trade while dealing damage, right? It has if they were playing a different matchup where they could just go all face and didn't have to worry about the damage on the rebound, you probably wouldn't have seen that game go as long.
Well, I really liked the way Bestmarmotte played that game out. He played it exactly the way he should have. He controlled the board, he outvalued Unner, and he won the match.
One thing I will say about this set, and I know you love to hear this, Forest has made a huge comeback. You'll see Forest in a lot of players' lineups because it's actually a good deck again.
Why do you people keep saying that to me?
You people? What are you talking about?
But no, you're right. Forest has is making a very strong comeback in this set. Last set, we didn't see it played as much. If we did, it was the neutral variation. Now we're just seeing people go back to its old roots of OTK Roach, but it's got a lot of new tools.
A lot of new tools. So let's get into new Shadow here. So this is looking like a mid-Shadow list from Bestmarmotte. I can't imagine Mid Shadow has changed that much from my experience. Belenus is a really great 2-drop that just basically got added to the deck. It's a free Angel of the Word effect tied to a 2/2. Essentially, its last words are just deal a random damage to an enemy. And just trying to go up the curve to Ektar, as usual. Plus, I want to imagine that most Shadow decks these days are playing the new card from Starforged, which is Saris. Saris is probably one of the best cards in the set, and it fits into pretty much every Shadow deck because it's just really high value. Really quickly, it's a 4-play point 1/4 that evolves into a 3/6, has Clash, deal 2 damage, at the end of your turn gain 2 life. Very potent card, very hard to trade with.
Okay, now you see the play that Unner just did? He played his Princess Vanguard, he pumped up his Perseus, and he traded into the Belenus. I really like that play because it takes away the option for Bestmarmotte to just pop his Belenus to take out one of Unner's defense followers.
Right, which he has plenty of in hand at the moment.
Yep.
But as we see, that second Belenus off the top, great top deck.
Yeah, it is a really good draw. He's trading into it again. Wow. Okay.
Interesting.
That is.
I like Unner's play here. I like it.
Really?
Yeah, especially if it's open decklist and you know your opponent's playing cards such as Prince Catacomb coming up on 4. It's Shadow in general. They have cards like,
That's
Soul
fair.
Conversion to draw cards with their followers that are left over. Just take away their options.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I definitely love seeing when Prince Catacomb comes down and gets very little to no value. Love that.
Right. It always feels good.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. What we can see in our Bestmarmotte's hand is he's not necessarily sitting on a wealth of options. I mean, he's got...
He's not. He's got Ektars.
He's got those. He definitely has Ektars.
Oh my. He definitely has Ektars.
He has one more Ektar than he had, and he had 2. So...
Excellent commentary, Aya. Excellent. I love it.
Top notch. Top of the line
notch, baby. I love it. So as we see, Bestmarmotte has done a really good job of just producing really good options every turn, except for the Prince Catacomb turn. And because of the way Unner played the early game, his mid game now is looking super strong. As we see now, this play that I was talking about, where you can do up to 8 damage on turn 5 with Ephemera and Roundtable Assembly, is just absurd. And we see more Storm followers, and another Ephemera in hand. I think Bestmarmotte's just done here.
Well, not necessarily done. Not necessarily. He's cooked a little bit. He's in the oven. He's in the oven.
Well, there's an Evo next turn that Ephemera can't be dealt with. So we're at least looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. Yep, right out of the hand. So I believe this is the last turn.
He does have another. Yeah, okay. Ignore me. Yep. Sorry, man.
Just like 8 damage. Are you kidding me? 8 damage?
Yeah. It'd take a... Oh, right to the face, man.
What kind of L?
It's a big, juicy L to the face, bro.
Aptly for sword, when you lose the sword in such a fashion where you're taking 8 damage on turn 5, that is a big, juicy L to the face. That's exactly what it is.
Coming to you.
Exactly.
Oh,
couldn't have said it better myself, even though I was the one who said it. But yep, that's nice and over.
See, people like to ban Prime Dragon Keeper, which we'll get into once we actually get to see the deck. I'm assuming both these players were bringing Prime Dragon Keeper and they both got banned out.
Both banned it. Yeah.
Right. And I would say that deck, you can play around a little bit easier than these new sword decks. These new sword decks are crazy, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Juliet added a whole new dimension to the deck. Okay, It gave it that commander synergy. In Roundtable Assembly was, aggro sword was. You can almost hear like the hymns, like they were blessed. It's just all the way. You could just see it, and all the happy aggro sword players are like, we can summon our storm cards from our deck and we could just jam face, they have to be ecstatic.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about Forest a little bit. So the new Forest, you can go a few different directions with it. Most players are falling back on the Roach plan, but the new thing that Roach is doing is Airbound Barrage. This is probably the biggest tool it got from the new set. 1 play point, bounce an amulet or follower from play back to your hand, deal 3 damage to a follower. Pretty strong
Did Forest
effect.
really need that? Like,
Absolutely it did. Did you see Forest last season? Come on, man.
I did.
And
But
what it does is
still.
it basically just gives 6 Nature's Guidance effects to the deck, so you can actually just play through your deck a lot more easily now. You're not going to see a lot of Forest players just sit there not doing anything on turns 4, 5, 6 even, you know, just depending on what their hands are. They actually get to play the game. They get to play spells every single turn. It doesn't feel like this bricky combo deck that you just have to get the right pieces. It has some play to it.
Well, one of the things that's really important to note about Airbound Barrage is that your opponent does have to have something in play in order for it to be played. So you may have to wait for your opponent to actually play something before you can, you know, pull that combo if you need, like if you have Airbound Barrage in hand and you don't have a Nature's Guidance, so it's not exactly the same. But as long as your opponent has stuff in play, it basically is Nature's Guidance. And especially with that new amulet with Spring Green Protection.
Spring Green Protection. Yep.
Oh man. Oh,
so yeah,
man.
let's talk a little bit about the amulet synergy that Forest has now. So Forest has the new amulet that we just talked about. Basically 1 play point, 3 countdown, draw a card when it dies, or when it gets bounced to your hand. So perfect synergy with Airbound Barrage and Nature's Guidance. It also pumps one of your followers randomly, +1/+0 at the end of the turn. And also with Wood of Brambles, now having 6 bounce effects, you just get a ton of card draw, a ton of fairies in your hand, a ton of reusable amulets that just get a lot of work done. But, Aya, talk to me about Ceres. I know that you know about Ceres because we had a lot of playtesting with that card, but talk to us about why this card is so good.
Okay, first and foremost, Ceres has the clash effect of deal 2 damage to the enemy follower. This makes it incredibly hard to trade into in most cases. Not necessarily in this one because Lilac's clash effect is going to trigger first, but in most cases, it's very difficult to evenly trade into this card. You can't use your 1/1s to get that extra little 1 damage, so that thing could be a 1/1 and you can never trade into it with a fairy because the clash effect will always kill it. And to add injury to insult, it also heals your leader for 2, which is something that Shadow didn't have before. Okay?
Right, it never
It
had
didn't have that. Nope. Well, I mean, it had Demaros, I guess. But,
Sure.
you know.
Sure.
Sure. Hey, I'm not counting it. I'm just saying this thing. It is technically healed.
So Dark Blade Fiend, another new card for Shadow. Haven't seen it a lot on the ladder, but obviously a very good value card. 5 play point, 3/5 with Ward. Ward always a great card. Necromancy 2, very low Necromancy cost. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower. Helps you clean up the board. Just a solid 5 drop, right after Ceres especially.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Ceres happens to stay on board and you drop a Dark Blade Fiend, I mean, your opponent's probably going to be shedding some tears.
Yep.
Well, he's playing his 0.
Interesting. So Unner, instead of normal Roach combo nature, plays out the Goblin Mage for board tempo as opposed to saving it for combo.
Is that right? I don't think so. Is it?
It's I don't know. There's 2 Nature's Guidance in the hand already, so he already has combo pieces, and his opponent's still at 20. So unless he knows a way to push his opponent or chip his opponent down just a little bit, Bestmarmotte, then I don't think that was the right choice. That's a tough call though, especially when you're playing against a deck. The reason why it could be an okay call though is because Bestmarmotte only has 2 cards left in hand. Realistically, Unner has a bevy of options to play through here, and he probably just feels like if he can maintain board control right now, especially before something like a Nectar hits, he probably doesn't have to worry too much.
But this is where we're seeing the value of Airbound Barrage, man. You play a Roach, you do some damage, you bounce it back, you shoot your opponent's thing, clear his board. Absolutely savage.
What else can you want?
I would want for it not to be there.
Oh no. No. Airbound Barrage, perfect. I'm so happy that card got added. Made Forest, like, literally not just a good card for the deck, it just literally made Forest play so differently now, or it makes it play so differently now, it feels like a more comfortable and real deck. So,
Well,
I can't
will
say enough good things about it.
Well, I will say this about it. It does enable you to burn your, or not maybe not burn, but play your roaches out, do damage, and not burn your nature's guidances, which before, if you wanted to run any additional bounce, you had to run things like Pixie Mischief, maybe even Dungeon Crawler Fairy, but you don't have to do that anymore. You got Airbound Barrage, and on top of that, you can just snipe something and still keep your card. So you can chip away with Roach and still have things. That's
before it was a purely chip damage option. Now it's a chip damage plus kill your opponent's follower. So yeah, absolutely great. Ooh, okay. So Bestmarmotte, while not having a lot of resources at his disposal, does have the ones he needs versus Roach. He's got big wards. If these are dealt with, he did just use the shadows though on the White King. Okay, and then followed up building
he just
up big
said, you know what, man?
Yep.
He said, you know what, man? Deal with it.
Right, deal with it.
And as we can see, oh no.
No Evo points left.
Oh no, no Evo points. I think there's a face that's about to be annihilated.
Yep. This is a 4/5 ward that cannot basically be attacked through, and Ektar has a full board of followers.
Yeah. So Bestmarmotte getting the best, pun intended, of Unner, and I definitely, this is, there's nothing he can really do. Plus, he's gonna take damage from killing his ward because of the white. So he's gonna be taking even more damage, even though he's gonna be trading. He takes one here. He's gonna be trading out. He's still the Ektar is still in hand. So I mean, we're looking at 12 damage.
12 damage. Yep.
So, sorry, man.
Too many damage. I believe Unner knows it's coming. He hasn't really seen Ektar this game. You always feel it.
Yeah, you always know that some hay can't be taken, and then...
So, Bestmarmotte, the animal, we don't know what it is yet. We'll probably have to look that up after the show. Moves on to the next stage. Awesome. Or the next round, rather.
Bestmarmotte takes the match there and will be in the upper finals, and so he's very well positioned to kind of get into Season 3. And this is interesting because Bestmarmotte, I mean, is a slightly familiar name. We saw him compete a lot in Season 2, and I think just in general, just kind of being somewhat present in the Shadowverse competitive community, and now